Hello everyone, welcome to the article review 4 presentation. So today we will be talking about an article titled Trust Me Not, a nuanced view of influencer marketing on social media. Now we will start with the introduction of the article. Since I know that all of us use social media, we can see that there's a major change in social media marketing, which is a shift towards influencer marketing. The growth of this kind of marketing technique accelerated because of the COVID-19 outbreak, and people increasingly turned to social media for entertainment and virtual social experiences. So, who are social media influencers? They're people who have the potential to create engagements, drive conversation, and sell products or services with the intended target audience. Social media influencers range from celebrities to more micro-targeted professionals or non-professionals peers. Social media influencer marketing is a type of endorsement marketing that uses product recommendations from influencers to drive the customers to buy the products. This kind of marketing technique is a multi-layered relationship marketing, which involve influencer customers, influencer brand, and brand consumer relationships. What are the goals of influencer marketing? First, they want to gain the attention of potential customers and generate word-of-mouth effects, also create customers' engagement with a brand or a product. Influencer marketing is evolving into long-term partnerships between brands and influencers, and these influencers deliver the brand's messages to their followers by leveraging the pre-established relationship and trust that they have cultivated. The leverage of trust between influencers and their followers are limited given the overemphasis of past studies on transactional outcomes, such as followers' perceptions, attitudes, and behavioral intentions. The basic premise of this study is that the successful exchange of social resources between relationship partners can build psychological ties and motivate partners to maintain the relationship. Satisfactory exchange between influencer and followers will positively reinforce the relational bonding and enrich the quality of the relationship over time, generating greater customer engagement organically. This study also aims to examine whether the specific characteristics of the influencer can function as social exchange resources in the formation of trust.
So I will introduce the second point, the review of the literature and development of the analysis. Point 2.1, so the social exchange theory of interpersonal communication. Social exchange theory provides a theoretical framework for influence marketing. This theory highlights the fact that when a person invests in a relationship, here we are talking about resources, this person expects in return from his partner a behavior that will reward this investment. Here we will talk about influence marketing. The influencer posts contents to appeal to their audience, the people who follow him. The reward in return is the form of comments, likes, etc. In this relationship, if the resources provided by the influencer are valuable and established dominance, then a dependency can be achieved and the influencer has an impact on their followers. He or she therefore has special power. But when reciprocity is respected, then a balance is created in the exchange between influencer and followers. A balanced relationship means trust and consideration. In contrast, if the relationship is unbalanced, it becomes unstable. This study proposes that trust and loyalty as a result of successful exchanges between influencers and followers. This trust and loyalty enables the influencer to develop trust and attractiveness towards their activity from followers. 2.2. Source, credibility model, expertise and authenticity. Credibility is the image a listener has of a speaker. Hovland and Hall, 1953. Expertise, the extent to which a communicator is perceived as a source of valid assertions. Expertise comes from the quality and quantity of information, but also comes from other factors such as the professional success of the speaker and the validity of his or her judgment. In marketing, the intention is to get a message across and for it to be received by the receiver. The message can be affected if the speaker tries to persuade it or manipulate. In social media marketing, the intention of the influencer is very important and difficult to implement because followers are aware that the content is sponsored, which creates mistrust in the sincerity of the influencer. Credibility is therefore important to be convincing. The relation trust between influencer and followers can be highlighted in a qualitative study with the following two hypotheses. The first one is the expertise of an influencer positively influence trust in the influencer. So the second one is the authenticity of an influencer positively influence trust in the influencer. 2.3. Source attractiveness model, physical attractiveness and homophily. The attractiveness of the source, which increase in communication impacts, comes from different points such as familiarity, likability, similarity, and attractiveness. In influencers, physical attractiveness and homophily are two very important dimensions. Attractiveness affects the follower's judgment and therefore credibility by reducing uncertainty. Physical attractiveness and homophily can be explained. Physical attractiveness increases credibility, being well-informed, logical, and therefore the credibility of the followers. Homophily creates a sense of similarity in followers, which in turn increases trust. From this study, two hypotheses are proposed. The attractiveness of an influencer positively influences trust in the influencer, and homophily towards an influencer positively influences trust in the influencer. 2.4. Trust in the influencer. Trust in an influencer only persists if the influencer keeps his or her promises. Trust can be increased by the promise of future rewards. Trust creates value in the exchange between partners. In an influencer-follower relationship, the follower seeks to be providely impacted by the relationship, and the influencer seeks to maintain the relationship to create loyalty. We can therefore propose the following hypothesis. Trust positively influences loyalty to the influencer. Then, the relationship and the contribution of positivity to the follower allow to influence the purchase intention, on the same principle as trust in the experience of a salesperson in a shop. The following hypothesis as proposed. Trust positively influences attitude towards the product, and trust positively influences purchase intention. 2.5. The moderating influence of the strength of the relationship. The relationship between influencer and followers can have different levels of strength, which varies according to four factors: time invested, emotional intensity, intimacy, and reciprocity services. The strength of this relationship increases engagement and therefore sales, but also decreases complaints about poor services. This relationship changes user behavior on social networks. The question of this study is therefore the following. Does the strength of the relationship provide a more nuanced view of influencer marketing? So to answer this question, the following hypotheses are formulated. The strength of the relationship plays a moderating role, like in hypothesis 1, which is the expertise of an influencer positively influences trust in the influencer, and hypothesis 7, which is trust positively influences purchase intention. That is, there will be a different pattern of paths between the strong and weak relationship groups.
The method that we're using in this paper to collect the data is by doing an online cross-sectional survey, where the participants were asked to think about a social media influencer that they view the most in the past month and identify the name of those influencers. They answered the frequency of viewing the content, the average time of watching, and the duration of following the influencer. For those who are not indicate the specific name of the influencer were excluded. The other were asked to complete the questionnaire concerning the influencer they had identified. The measurement items for each construct in the hypothesis model were adapted and also modified from the pre-existing measurement that already validated through the previous studies. The influencer characteristics like expertise, authenticity, physical attractiveness were measured through 7-point semantic differential scales that adopt from the paper written by Ohanian in 1990, while other factors were adapting also in another literature. Those factors are homophily, trust, loyalty to the influencer, and product attitude, and purchase intention.
So, about the results of the study. Let's first take a look at the preliminary work that we had to do before conducting the results analysis. We first evaluate the internal consistency with Cronbach's alpha, and each value ranges above 1.7, which indicates the reliability of the construct measured. The measurement model was then cleaned after conducting a confirmatory factor analysis, and we ended up removing one item of physical attractiveness, thus improving the measurement model. Average variance extracted and composite reliability analysis helped us assessing the convergent and discriminant validity. About the results of the hypothesis testing, which parameters are influencing trust. The hypothesis 1 was the expertise of an influencer positively influences trust in the influencer, and this hypothesis is verified. Hypothesis 2 is verified too, which was the authenticity of an influencer positively influences trust in the influencer. The first hypothesis to be rejected is H3, which was the attractiveness of an influencer positively influences trust in the influencer. The hypothesis 4, homophily to an influencer, positively influences trust in the influencer, is verified too. The results of the hypothesis testing for H5, 6, and 7 all turned out to be verified, and trust positively influences both loyalty, product attitude, and purchase intention. About the results of the mediation analysis of trust, we evaluate the trust mediation and the effects of expertise, authenticity, and homophily on marketing outcomes. A bootstrapping analysis is conducted using process SPSS micro. About the result, the mediation of trust between influencers' characteristics, expertise, authenticity, homophily on the following marketing outcomes, which are influencer loyalty, product attitude, and purchase intention. This hypothesis is confirmed. So let's take a look at the results of the moderation effect of relationship strength. The hypothesis 8 was the relationship strength plays a moderating role in H117. That is, there will be a different pattern of path between the wrong versus weak relationship groups. The configural then metrics invariants are first established. The analysis of the model fit difference between the two groups reveals the moderated influence of relationship strength on supporting H8. The influence of authenticity on trust between strong relationships versus weak relationships was significantly varied. The influence of trust on the loyalty to the influencer between strong relationships versus weak relationship was also significantly varied. The other part did not reveal significant difference between the two groups.
Part 5. Discussion. In the context of social media, this study provides a social exchange paradigm to predict trust in influencer-follower relationships. The results suggest that influencers' expertise, authenticity, and homophily play a significant role in building follower trust. Surprisingly, there was no significant relationship between physical attractiveness and trust. This finding indicates that the nature of influencer-follower relationships is not based on instant interaction or communication. As followers continuously observe the influencer over time and across multiple postings, the effect of physical attractiveness on initial judgment was not extended to trust in the long-term relationship. Only 5.5% indicate having followed the influencer for 1 to 4 weeks and 1.8% for less than a week. Thus, we can interpret that the long duration of relationship resulted in the effectiveness of physical attractiveness as a social exchange driver in developing followers' trust. The multi-group analysis revealed that the impact of authenticity on trust and the effect of trust on loyalty varied according to relationship strength. First, the impact of authenticity on trust in the influencer was significantly stronger for weak relationships than for strong relationships. This implies that authenticity is more crucial when followers do not have a strong relationship with the influencer. When followers have frequently visited the influencer and spent a significant amount of time viewing the influencer's content, authenticity becomes less critical to followers' trust in the influencer. The impact of authenticity can be diminished through interaction and mitigated as the relationship deepens. Furthermore, the impact of trust on loyalty to the influencer was more evident in strong rather than weak relationships. The effect of expertise also varied by relationship trend, even though the statistical difference was marginal. The difference of this study from Liu and Yuan is that the interpersonal trust in the influencer was examined and found that expertise was impactful in a strong relationship. Furthermore, Trust enhanced followers' acceptance of endorsement, regardless of relationship trends. Trust causes followers to perceive their recommended product service more positively and increase purchase intent. Therefore, trust in the influencer was powerful enough to affect followers' opinion and behavior. This demonstrates the consistent emphasis on trust for influencer marketing.
The next one is I want to mention several theoretical implications that has been done by the study. The first one, the study has provides empirical evidence of relationship strength as a critical variable in the influencer marketing process. So while the previous studies focused on identifying the necessary conditions of influencer credibility, previous studies were not fully capture when and how credible characteristics could enhance the effectiveness of influencer marketing. Second point is the study identify the moderating role of relationship strength on influencer credibility and attractiveness. The third one, the study found that the influencer's physical attractiveness did not exert an impact on trust in the influencer itself. This finding implies that physical attractiveness can be effective for positive initial judgment in instant communications, but that it is ineffective to building trust in long-term interactions between influencer and followers on social media. So this finding supports the idea that physical attractiveness can be conditionally effective and should be interpreted in the context of communication itself. The fourth point is the effect of expertise can be restricted by relationship strength between the influencer itself and their followers. And lastly, the study extends the outcomes of source characteristics models to loyalty. So it simply said that the study suggests that source characteristics can alter followers' thoughts and behaviors through relationship development. In other words, the study presents the possibility that source characteristics models can go beyond the celebrity endorsement context and can be extended to influencer-follower relationship development. This study also provides nuanced criteria to assess influencer characteristics such as expertise, authenticity, physical attractiveness, and how affiliate to leverage relational trust. So the first point is perceived similarity is significant to build trust, while physical attractiveness is not. So based on these points, marketing practitioners should interpret the similarity between the influencer and followers and incorporate it into their marketing strategy or message to leverage relational trust. And furthermore, the result implies that influencer marketing is different from the traditional celebrity endorsement where physical attractiveness is a crucial quality. Second one is relationship strength determined by the frequency of visits and time spent alter the role of trust. So for the weaker relationship or early stage of relationship development, authenticity was more important for the audience. So this study suggests that perception of genuine intentions can be more impactful to followers who have a weak relationship or have not yet developed an intense relationship with the influence. On the other side, for the stronger relationship, expertise was more critical for the trust to be built or to be maintained in the long term. And lastly, the impact of trust on loyalty was stronger in deeper relationships. This trust is more impactful to influencers who build in-depth relationships with followers.
Limitation and suggestion for future research. Due to the fact that the study is cross-sectional, the results were limited to a certain point in time, so future research could use a long-term method to look at how influencer-follower relationships change over time. The study, for example, shows that the relationship strength is a factor in how strong the relationship is, and future studies could also look into the other factors that could change the direction of marketing strategies. Tests can be done to see if things like consumer age, the topic of an influencer's post, and which social media platform they use can be used in the communication process. The study was also done in the United States, so the result may not be the same for people in other countries or cultures. So cross-national and cross-cultural studies could be a good place to look for new research in the future. And finally, the study will look at how trust can help influencers and their followers get more out of the social exchange process they have with each other. Social exchange can be used to persuade followers, so future research can look at other relationship traits too. For case example, we choose Acuf, which stands for Accurate View, so it is a brand of disposable contact lenses by Johnson & Johnson. And they work with female influencers such as to define how they can use Acuf products in their everyday life.
Acuvue collaborated with at least 3 famous female influencers with at least 100,000 followers. They produced 24 Instagram photos, 4 Instagram videos, and 3 Instagram stories. These influencers then were asked to share their daily life activities while wearing Acuvue products as part of them. Acuvue's collaboration with these influencers managed to get 1.9 million views with a total engagement of 400,000, with a CPV or cost per view of $0.01, including production and distribution cost. Thank you for listening to our presentation. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye!